Hello everybody. This video lesson is meant to help you with subtraction with regrouping. I want you to remember that since this is a video lesson, feel free to stop the video. You can rewind the video to rewatch parts of the video if you need to, okay? So first of all, let's talk about this word regrouping. Regrouping, we also sometimes call it borrowing. Okay, and basically that idea just means that you are taking value from one place and giving that value to another place. Okay, so this is what we mean by regrouping or borrowing, taking value from one place in a number and giving that value to another place. Okay, so let's say that we had this problem, 971, and we were trying to subtract from it 659. Okay, well, we can see right off the bat here there's a problem because this 1 is smaller than this 9, and this is where borrowing or regrouping comes in handy. Okay, so I can go over here to my 7, which is in the tens place, and I can take a 10 away from this. So if I take a 10 away from this 7, I would be left with 6 tens. Okay, and then I can mark out this 1 and I can add that 10 that I borrowed to it. So it would make that 1 and 11. Okay, so now instead of it being 1 minus 9, it's 11 minus 9. And I can do that subtraction. 11 minus 9 is 2. Then if I move to my tens, I was left with 6 tens, and 6 minus 5 is 1. Okay, and then 9 minus 6 is 3. So this is one example of borrowing or regrouping to solve a subtraction problem. I also want you to remember that there's a way that I can check subtraction. I can check subtraction by doing the opposite operation, which is addition. So if I take the answer that I got, 312, and I, instead of subtract, add to it this addend, which was 659. So 9 plus 2 is 11. 5 plus 1 is 6, plus 1 is 7, and 6 plus 3 is 9. The answer here equaled this addend. So that's an easy way to check to make sure you didn't make any careless mistakes. Okay, I want us to do another subtraction problem where we have to regroup or borrow. So that was number 1. Let's do this problem. Let's say we had 913 and we're subtracting from it 286. Okay, well, right off the bat, 3 is smaller than 6, so I'm going to have to borrow. I'm going to go to my tens. I'm going to borrow one of these tens, and that means I won't have any tens left, okay? But I'm going to add them to the 3. So when I add 10 to the 3, that makes my 3 a 13. Now I can do 13 minus 6, and that is 7, okay? Now this time, when I move over to my tens, I have another problem because if I have 0, that's smaller than 8. So I cannot subtract right now as this is. So now I'm going to need to move to my hundreds, and I'm going to need to borrow from this 9. That would make my 9 and 8, okay? And then I'm going to add what I borrowed to this 0. So I'm going to add a 1 here. And notice 10 tens, because that's the place that we're in, 10 tens equals the 100 that we borrowed over here from my 9, okay? So now I can subtract. 10 minus 8 is 2, and 8 minus 2 is 6. And I'm going to check my answer, 627, and I'm going to add to check it, 286. So 7 plus 6 is 13. 8 plus 2 is 10, plus 1 is 11. And 6 plus 2 is 8, plus 1 more is 9. So I know that my answer is correct. We're going to do one more together, and then I'm going to give you some problems to do on your own. So here is our third problem. Let's take 301 minus 164. What I would like for you to do first is I would like for you to pause the video, and I would like for you to try to work this problem on your own. And after you've worked it, start the video and see if you got it correct. Okay, so now we're ready to check. And right off the bat, I have a problem because 1 is smaller than 4. I can't subtract it. I'm going to have to borrow. So if I mark out my 1 and go to my tens, there's another problem. I don't have anything to borrow here. So I'm going to have to go to my hundreds, and I have 3. I can mark out my 3 and make it a 2. Okay? Then that would make this 0 a 10. But I'm going to have to borrow from this 10. It's going to become a 9. I'm going to have to borrow here so that I can correctly subtract in my 1's place. So my 1 is going to become an 11. Okay? So now I can subtract 11 minus 4, 7. Okay? 9 minus 6, which is 3, and 2 minus 1, which is 1. And to check, I can take my answer. I can subtract this, and I'm sorry, not subtract it. To check it, I'm going to add it. So 7 plus 4 is 11. 6 plus 3 is 9, plus 1 more is 10, and 1 plus 1 plus 1 is 3. So I know that my answer is correct. Okay? Please remember that you can go back and re-watch these examples if you need to. I'm going to give you some problems that I want you to solve on your own. When you're done solving these problems, you can bring them to me. Okay? So here's number 1. Let's do 270 minus 205. Number 2, 889 minus 250. Number 3, 614 minus 390. Number 4, 500 minus 23. And number 5, let's do 968 minus 76. Okay, so on your notebook paper, I want you to work these problems. When you're done with these problems, I want you to bring your paper to me. Okay, please remember you can look back at the examples that we had here if you need to rewatch those. Okay, and good luck.